Good evening, folks. We're doing this now every night, it appears. This is Wednesday or Tuesday. It's Tuesday, October 28th. Really nice to see you all. Kevin McAvey here, talking to many of our candidates across Congressional District 17 in New York, our local candidates and leaders who are running for office, hoping to make our communities better. Serving in local office is one of those responsibilities where you actually see your constituents every day and you get a report card every day, making it one of the most important and I would argue one of the most difficult at times offices one can hold, but it is also part of the fabric of our American democracy to put your name forward as someone to represent our communities in making critical decisions that impact our families, our children, our parents, as we all look to live in a livable, workable community setting. And today I am so pleased to have with me Brian Pugh, who is a dedicated native of Croton-on-Hudson and has served as mayor of the village since December 2017 after serving as a village trustee from 2014 to 2017. He has a long record of public service. During Brian's leadership as mayor, Croton-on-Hudson has earned the highest clean energy rating of any community in New York State for its work to increase renewable energy and reduce pollution. In addition to sustainability, Brian has championed controlling property taxes, increasing affordability, investing in infrastructure, including the Croton Point Avenue Improvement Project. He's a graduate of Oberlin College, of Fordham School of Law, and I am so pleased to be able to welcome him on to share a little bit about his record and why he's running for office again. Brian, it's so nice to see you.
Hey, Kevin, thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for running for office. Why are you going to do it again?
Yeah, so at the risk of mixing some metaphors here, there are a number of planes still in the air that I would really like to see landed, and then some initiatives where, given that we have 2-year terms in village government, I probably won't necessarily get to see their completion, but would at least like to get a spade in the ground and have some positive momentum before I leave. So in terms of planes in the air, we have the redevelopment of Lot A, which is the overflow parking lot at the train station, Metro North train station.
Mm-hmm.
Croton-on-Hudson, as anyone who has been to our village probably has noticed, is home to a very large commuter train station parking lot
Mm-hmm.
that's village owned. In many communities, it is not. It is more often than not owned by the MTA, but in our case, the village owns it and has for a very long time. And that was and is a major source of revenue for the village. But since the pandemic, revenues are definitely down. We're expecting them to still be about $1 million less than where they were in
Really?
2019. Yes, that's right. And, before the pandemic, we had a wait list of over 300 names, 300 people for parking spaces. And now we have, on some days it'll be busier and other days less busy, but we're still way below capacity. We actually, right before the start of the pandemic, added to the capacity of the parking lot, believe it or not. So we have a surplus of parking. And at
Why
the same
didn't you foresee it, Brian?
well, that was also the parking was also added because of what I think was a far-sighted policy decision, and I'll give him credit where credit is due by my
Yeah.
predecessor, Mayor Greg Schmidt, who was of a different political party, to move what was then our DPW, Department of Public Works garage, out of the parking lot because it was on the lower lot, and that was in a floodplain. And having gone through Hurricane Irene and Sandy, it was very clear that the village department, whose job it is to help clean up after a natural disaster, shouldn't be on the front line, have its headquarters,
Yeah, that's smart.
And I was happy to support that decision, and that opened up a lot, that all the space that was devoted to the DPW became parking spaces. So we added spaces, and then the pandemic struck, and here we are. So we have a surplus of parking, and at the same time,
$1
a
million
shortage.
deficit.
Yeah, that's correct. A shortage of revenue and a shortage of housing. And on the revenue side, part of the way we've addressed it is with the carport solar array, which more recent visitors to the village may have noticed. It's quite
Mhm.
large. It is 4 megawatts. It should provide power for between 4 to 500 homes,
Mhm.
and currently is generating approximately $470,000 a year in revenue for the village, which for us is significant. That's
Yeah.
$500,000.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to come from residents, that we can use to make the village a better place.
How did
So
that opportunity come about, just out of curiosity?
yeah, sure. So that's something that we look, and it's an idea that has been around for a while. I wish I could claim sole credit, but I certainly can't. There was a white paper in the village going back as far as 2005 that mentioned the possibility of redeveloping the parking lot as
Mhm.
for carport solar. However, the economic, in the past, the economics didn't always work out when we looked at it, and there was also just the logistical challenge of trying to do a major construction project amidst a very busy parking lot.
Yeah.
And so the pandemic made it a necessity, and also made it easier to do. Is
Yeah.
the we started moving. Ever since I became mayor, we would review the idea, discuss it,
Mhm.
run the numbers. But when the pandemic struck, we kicked it into high gear.
Yeah, I mean, and it was smart timing. And
Yeah.
I actually just have, I know this is not on script, but like, do you remember like why you originally decided to run for mayor?
Sure. So again, mentioning,
Yeah.
I was a member of the board. The
Mhm.
previous mayor was not, did not share my political affiliation or
Mhm.
philosophy. And while he made some good decisions, I didn't agree with all of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's the saying of there's no Republican or Democratic way to, collect the trash or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
somewhat true. But there is a question of priorities, and
Mhm.
sustainability really was not a priority of the previous mayor, and it has been for us. We did
Yeah.
not become the number one clean energy community in the state by accident. That was
Purposeful,
yeah,
intentional. That's
correct.
a year after year grind and progress.
Yeah,
And
and to be clear, I mean,
uh,
this would not be possible at all without our village's sustainability committee,
mhm.
chaired by Lindsay Auden and comprised of some very dedicated individuals of tremendous experience and talent. A lot of people, professionals in the energy field, a lot of people who are PEs who donate their time to our community. But those people were, on the sustainability committee, many of them both under the previous leadership as well.
Mhm.
But their efforts are not being prioritized in the same way.
Would you say it takes a village? I
You,
got you
you,
to laugh. I got
yeah,
it.
you get to do that fun once tonight, right? But
Yeah, and so like we talked about like the progress on environmental issues and sustainability and the progress in filling a budget gap that was out of our control. Housing shortage is also a pervasive issue across the Hudson Valley, but I know has been acutely felt in Croton-on-Hudson.
yeah, so as I mentioned, we had a surplus of parking and a shortage of housing, and we're not unique, at least in the latter point. Kind of the in 2019, the county produced its housing needs assessment, which
Hmm.
is available on the Department of Planning's website, and it has profiles of each community, and certainly not unique in the housing needs in this area. It's dire for basically every community in Westchester County. But it was so upsetting to see that, and again, this is the 2019
Yeah,
year, 515 households in the village were spending half their income on housing
isn't that
costs.
crazy?
Yeah. And this is a community of about 3,000 households. So that's a
Yeah.
significant portion of our village.
Hmm.
And, the rental vacancy rate in the village is very low, basically within the margin of error, typically, when you look at the census data. And so, the rent burden, the housing cost burden is very much a product of shortage, of an absence of supply and very high demand. And of course, again, this village is not the only community with these challenges.
Hmm.
I don't think it's anyone's expectation that we're going to solve these challenges on our own. But we are a pro housing community, if you're not familiar with that, which you
Hmm.
probably are, Kevin, but for those
Hmm.
that aren't, It's an initiative by New York State where it is, if you target an average annual growth rate of 1% a year, the community is eligible for funding for various state grant programs. It's a requirement for most forms of economic development grants now in New York State. And so a lot of communities in New York State have made that commitment. The town of Cortland has, Village of Ossining, many others in Westchester County. And so we're not operating alone. We're operating in conjunction with these communities across the state to try to make a difference. And specifically, how are we trying to do that? Well, the redevelopment of our surplus parking lot is one of them. It's going to be hopefully 100 new units of housing, ideally, again, affordable ownership, which is very interesting to us. They've applied, the purchaser of the property has applied for funding through AHOP, which is the Affordable Home Ownership Program from New York State, which, again, if you want to think of it as similar to Mitchell-Lama or something like that, again, the idea is affordable condos for people basically with incomes in the range of, let's say $80,000 to $150,000 a year.
Yeah.
And the villages, that fits in with, I would say, a larger effort by the village to create opportunities at every segment of the housing market, right? So earlier this year, we celebrated the completion of Maple Commons, which is rental affordable housing.
Yeah.
It's on Maple Street across from CVS, if people are familiar with the village. 33 units of rental housing there. That's for a different income tier, not quite as high. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have a number of market rate units coming online at what is known as 25 South Riverside is the address. The Hudson is the brand name. And to most people in the village, it's known as the old hardware store, or where the old hardware store used to be. And those are going to be, market rate units, many of them at, prices that are not low. There will also, as part of our village's fair and affordable housing law, model county ordinance, 10% set aside. So 4 of the 39 units being constructed there will be affordable, and the lottery, they're still taking applications for the lottery for that going into November.
Yeah. So you said 39 for the Hudson. How many for Maple Commons?
33.
33, and then you have 100 for the new complex. I mean, so we're building significant amount of housing to meet the need. That's a big commitment, and do so in a way that allows for mixed use at mixed income levels, brings a community along. That's significant, and it's preparing also for growth. Because if you're talking about 170 new units to support different household compositions, what is that? 300 new people, 400 new people. I mean, it's allowing Croton-on-Hudson to grow and grow sustainably.
Yeah, and I hear from business owners all the time about the need for growth, about the need for more customers, and this is going to be creating a very hyper local customer base for a lot of our local businesses.
Yeah. So you have planes in the air. You want to land some of them, maybe take some other ones, let some others take off.
Yeah, that's right. And other planes in the air, on the environmental front, obviously going back to the housing question for a moment, one of the questions that gets always is brought up in these conversations is questions of traffic. And I mean, what we have found, certainly at Maple Commons, is far fewer automobiles than were originally projected. I think that really the way to address traffic is to address traffic and not try to limit, we need fewer cars, not fewer people, is my view.
Yeah.
And so it's to create transportation alternatives. So, the village has launched an e-bike pilot program, an e-bike share program. So similar to City Bike.
Yeah.
This was pioneered, if you will, by the Village of Ossining, which was the original Westchester community to do this through a grant from NYSERDA, New York State Energy Research Development Authority. We were part of the Expansion League. And so now a number of river towns have these e-bikes. They're all on the same platform, so they're interoperable. So you can take a bicycle from Croton-on-Hudson down to Terrytown or vice versa put it in one of the docks, and it'll get resorted overnight by the program managers. But it's a fossil fuel free way of traveling.
Gets you from point A to point B when those point A and point B are in the community, and also kind of allows a community to blossom around these new traffic patterns.
Exactly. And we continue to build out our pedestrian infrastructure. We've put in contribution through the county's Complete Streets grant program, where there will be, matching funds, 50-50 cost share, to extend some of our sidewalks to better connect our commercial areas to our riverfront.
Yeah, I mean that all sounds amazing, and through all of this, I actually want to hold on the themes that I'm hearing and actually just ask, why are you best equipped of everyone out there to make sure that we're landing the planes and successfully starting up these new planes for takeoff that really reflect like local community needs?
Yeah, sure. Well, the best out there, I have some humility. I'm capable of some humility, and look, it's a village of 8,300 people. I'm sure that there are people that could do an excellent job. But of the candidates this year for mayor, I'm the one with the record, and I'm the one with the basically the program to do this. I mean, a lot of these started with us. A lot of them were, by us, I mean, of course, the Democratic majority on the village board. And frankly, a lot just are not supported by the other candidate. And, the voters,
that's the choice.
People need to have a choice.
Yep.
They can have, we can do these things, or we don't have to. And, well, I wouldn't say either is fine. I would prefer one over the other. It's up to the people, and they can make that choice. And I hope just people understand the issues clearly. So I appreciate you for giving us this opportunity to talk and lay that all out for everyone.
Of course. Before my last question, what is your favorite part about serving as mayor?
Oh, that is tough, but not as tough as you'd think. I would say probably Boy Scout events.
Yeah.
It's really, really inspiring.
Were you a Boy Scout?
I was, but like the majority of Boy Scouts, I did not become an Eagle Scout.
Yes.
It's fewer than 1 in 10 make that trip. And part of my stock speech, my stock speech, some of the older scouts, I think, have gotten wise to this at the courts of honor, is I talk about, like, I've never met an Eagle Scout that's regretted becoming an Eagle Scout. And there are a lot of people that didn't become Eagle Scouts, like myself, really wish they'd gone through that journey. But it's always very inspiring. And, as you're probably aware, the Scouts, Eagle Scouts, are required to do a service project. So it's always fun to learn what they've done to make the community a better place. Probably one of the greatest Eagle Scout projects in the history of the village was for our local cemetery, believe it or not, where
really
a student built, or rather a scout built, stands basically out of wood to contain the garbage bins, so they were secured and couldn't blow around. I remember for years they, in a storm that going away, and then I was like, this is the simplest and most brilliant thing I've ever seen. And no, but I don't want to play favorites. Scouts do a lot of good projects. But that was a very notable one.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think it actually brings me back to some of the themes I'm hearing from the work that you've done over the years. It's really evidence-based and driven. You mentioned a number of reports that present you data of like what the problem is and the ways to start to solve it. You really bring creative policy problem solving, really thinking about like how we can collaborate with other communities, how we can learn from other communities, how we could take advantage of state grant programs to advance our priorities. And then, of course, and I know I'm flattering you, but I mean, like, it's a tenacity. It's a year after year. Like, these are the goals, and having the focus to not get distracted and just keep moving the ball down the field. And for that, and I don't get to say this with the congressional candidates yet, but I hope you win. I hope that folks see this, make their own assessments, and turn out to vote for continued progress in Croton-on-Hudson. Is there any message that you would like to deliver for folks who haven't voted yet, or want to help in some way to make sure that Election Day turns out as we want it to?
Yeah, I mean, I think for people still making up their mind, I do hope that they take an take the opportunity to go watch the League of Women Voters Candidates Forum. There's a recording online, Northwestern Westchester.
Yeah, you got it.
Women Voters, and just run that through Google for their YouTube channel, and you can find, again, people should vote their conscience, vote their values, but they should make an informed vote, and I hope that people hear both sides of the issues.
Yeah, where's early voting in your community?
Early voting is at the municipal building, 1 Van Wyck Street.
Yep, and the standard business hours or anything you'd want to flag?
It is.
I know this is a tough question. Yeah.
It's the same hours as the rest of the county, but it varies by day. So for today, it was from 12 to 8 p.m. And then tomorrow it is not. So people should go to the Board of Elections website to be sure.
Sounds good. Brian, first off, thank you for serving. Second, thank you for running. Third, thank you for coming on a Tuesday night and sharing a little bit about your mayorality and the issues that you've seen and worked to address on behalf of the village of Croton-on-Hudson.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too.
Take care. Bye.
So, my friends, that was, how can I get this back up? Here we go. There we go. Brian Pugh, Mayor of Croton-on-Hudson. Really pleased that he was able to join us tonight and really share his track record of success on behalf of the village. And it is one that I hope you'll agree, after your consideration, is worthy of your vote. If you have additional questions, I'm sure he'd accept emails at any time with those questions. And as always, it is my pleasure to get to talk to so many of the candidates across the district, not only on the congressional level, but for this week and early next week at the local leadership level with our friends and neighbors who are running to represent us and make our local communities better for us all. I'm going to go to bed. And so I hope you do too, because it's getting late. I'll talk to you soon.